Do do do, theme song. Do do do, I'm broke so this is my theme song. Do do do, just imagine this is an awesome theme song. Do do, theme song. Left of the box. This space. Ooh. Hello, welcome to This Space with Left of the Box. Bonjour, bienvenue. I'm Sandy. Okay, been told my audio is coming in good. Now, is it coming in good like from my computer or is it coming in good from the mic? Just in case. Okay, it's coming from the mic, says the producer. Okay, good. For those of you who don't know, weren't tuned in, I did a live stream last night, a news live stream. Yes, the table I have this set up on collapsed and my Yeti mic was damaged. I have a friend coming over tonight to maybe see if we can fix it. Fingers crossed we can. Until then, I'm using this little lapel mic. Yeah, we'll see. Luckily, I do have this as a backup. And this was actually donated to me very generously. It was on my wish list that you can find, probably linked somewhere, my Amazon wish list. I also put a table on it because I replaced the table that I have is one of those plastic folding tables that you would take to like a picnic or something, 6 feet by 2.5 feet. Found it at the curb, but we thought we had it fixed. Apparently not. So I had found a second one, and I'm using the second one now. It was also slightly damaged, so I'm very wary right about now. Not to mention I'm still running into the problem where if I do this, the camera shakes because the whole table shakes a little bit. So I need like basically a conference table type thing, which is just an expensive pain in the ass. Hey. Stupid ad block plus popping up right now while I'm doing this, taking me off my screen. Anyway, yeah, ADHD galore. I've been all over the place, but I do have a horrific docket to talk about. It starts almost like, oh, this doesn't, like, it's bad, but it's not horrific, talking about billionaire trillionaires. But it leads into horror as to the power that these people have. And they have a lot of power. But let me know if everything is going good on your end with me. To be honest, I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling kind of sick. I haven't even really eaten all day. But the show must go on. I am functional. That's the important part. But I didn't go to the gym this morning because there was no way I was feeling up to it. So hopefully I can get back to the gym tomorrow, get into a routine. Anyway, why don't I pop this up? I have to add it. Share screen. This one. Share. Okay. So there we go. So before talking about the trillionaire, I wanted to talk about the billionaire here in Canada. And there is a through thread that there's a reason I'm covering this. And so this is from Rachel Gilmore. She's a wonderful independent journalist here in Canada. And she says the Shopify CEO is an all-time loser up there with Elon. Now, I know there's a lot of crossover audience between, this space, my channel, and the Majority Report. I also know the Majority Report has Shopify as a sponsor. I don't know if it's the same Shopify because it could be American versus Canadian branch. So I don't know if the CEO of our Shopify has anything to do with the American Shopify. But needless to say, I would never have Shopify here as a sponsor or use it. And this is part of the reason why. So she continues on with her tweet saying, just a mortifying wealth glutton. You can't make this much money. You can only steal the fruits of others' labor. The fact that billionaires exist while Canadians can't afford groceries is a societal failure, which is true. Go away, ad block. There we go. So here we have, she had this as an image to the Globe and Mail had this title for an article saying SpaceX IPO makes Elon Musk the first trillionaire. Here's how to properly hate him. That was the actual headline in the Globe and Mail. Here's how to properly hate him. I wouldn't be able to read that probably though, because they have a paywall. And so Toby here was just saying, you have absolutely disgraced yourself publishing this Globe. We all clearly don't hate the media enough. You can hate both. You can hate the mainstream media and you can hate billionaire, millionaire, trillionaires. And so this is the CEO of our Shopify, because Tobias here is the one that was just in the other tweet here. See? Toby. I'm assuming it's the same person. And this is from Wikipedia. As of 2022, he was the 11th richest Canadian. As of August 2025, his net worth was 12.3 billion US dollars, which means that's a hell of a lot more in Canuck bucks. Canuck bucks. I've never heard that before. It just came out of my mouth and I really like it. Canuck bucks instead of Canadian currency. I think that should be picked up. Absolutely, Canuck bucks. So yeah, he's not the only billionaire. So the most wealthy family here in Canada is the Westons, and they own the grocery stores. So, they jack up all the prices in the grocery stores, the places that people have to go, because food is required for living. It's not a luxury. And they jack up all the prices, making it more and more unaffordable. But you see, they own multiple grocery stores. And so they have the regular grocery stores, but they also have the discount grocery stores. And so they're still making a profit from the same people who are struggling more and more, from the people who stop going to the regular grocery stores and go to the discount one. The money is still going to the same family. And the idea that they could just jack up the price on groceries while there's people going hungry here, the fact that we have billionaires, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, probably multiple times, but I'm a fan of just taking their wealth, taking 90% of their wealth, just take it. I'm a fan of that, because here's the thing. If you are a billionaire and you get down, like, let's just say we take away all but $100 million. How has that person's life changed? What is it that they can't do anymore without that extra 900 billion or million, I mean? Their life doesn't change. You could take away all of that money from them. Their life stays the same. Their quality of life stays the same. They still have all the houses they want, yachts. They could get more. They can travel. They have all their healthcare needs. Like, they have everything. Like, even 100 million, like, I'm fine capping it at 50 million. But their life doesn't change at all if you took away all that wealth. And meanwhile, there are people where if, my disability payment rates were just doubled, that is like life-changing for me. I'd be able to pay off my debts and eventually get, save up enough for a car if I need one, or a new computer, or just, live a normal life, because I live pretty fucking cheap. So, if they actually dispersed all the money that they had from these multi-billionaires that could change the world. Like, I cannot understand how a person can have this much power, this much money, and not be a superhero. I'm ranting, so I'm going to go to rant view. This is rant view. How can you how can you in any good conscience have billions of dollars? You have the power to do the thing that we always dream about, ending world hunger, helping people with housing, all this sort of stuff. You can be a hero to millions of people. But instead, you invest in companies that make it harder for those people to get by. You nickel and dime them so much that you take any excess, not even excess, you find more ways of bleeding them dry. You find more ways of just taking, not caring that a lot of these people might end up unhoused or their healthcare needs not met, that they go hungry. I don't know how a human can do that. How they can sit by knowing they have the ability to improve the lives of millions and they choose not to. I'm just, mind blown with that. No, add back to stage. There we go. So, since she called them out, oh, and then there's Corrupt Ontario here, who says, you've been warned about the fashy pig of Shopify. Shopify money funds True North and Juno News. Now, that's the through thread that I want to get to in just a moment. But yes, so True North and Juno News are right-wing. When you say media outlets, do you immediately still think of news or just like infotainment? Because, True North, it's right-wing slop. Juno, they do some pop culture stuff, but it's still a little bit sketchy. But, thousands, tens of thousands of Canadians consume their content. So Shopify is a big backer of Fortress AmCam. They want to be part of the US very badly. As we have said before, if you have Shop app on your phone, you should uninstall that. Well, it was never on my phone to begin with. So yes, this billionaire is a backer of these right-wing media outlets, these infotainment outlets. That's important. So, but because she said that, of course, somebody wants to mansplain to her why billionaires are good. And Aaron, who's host of Dunce, that's how I'm pronouncing it anyway, says, with all due respect to influence and media pundits who pick a team and a political side and comment on the issue of this style, it just reads to me as a bit lazy. Ad hominem's attacks, insults, and judgments with no arguments attached seem like you're just pandering to your side. This post doesn't tell me a thing about what Rachel thinks about monetary policy, fiscal policy, the role of capitalism and markets, because you have to do that whenever you're stating your opinion on something. You have to go into all that detail every time. You can call Toby a loser all you like, but factually, he's very successful entrepreneur and did not lose on that venture. I understand. Okay, again, as Corrupt Ontario and Rachel know, you don't become a billionaire through hard work. You become a billionaire through exploitation. By taking money, by not paying employees enough, by not giving workers enough money, by exploiting people who have to use the service for whatever reason. There is no possible way that a single person can work to earn that much money. I will make an exception. If I become a billionaire because this book here goes viral that I wrote, that's like the exception, you know, because I didn't exploit anyone to make that book. But Amazon, which I have to distribute it on because I have no choice, does. So there's the conundrum. But if people bought it directly from me, well, I don't have a place. Anyway, we are forced to live in the systems that are oppressing us, especially when you live with poverty. So I understand his people can say whatever they like, but I would value a substantive discussion on very wealthy individuals and how we treat this minority of elites without devolving into insults. No, I'm going to call them fucking losers, because they are. Most of them are socially inept, can't communicate with humans, which coming from me says a lot. They have no charisma. They hoard this wealth as a way to have any sort of status, because without it, they would be fucking nobodies. Literally and not literally. What's the word? Literally and what's the word? When it's not literal. They would be fucking nobody. Literally and what's the metaphorically, I think. Yeah, literally and metaphorically, they'd be fucking nobody. So yeah, people who acquire this much wealth, like unless it was handed to them, are not good people. Like, if you were born into it, that's one thing. But if you don't then change your ways and somehow find a way to disperse that figuratively, Silas got it, figuratively. Like the idea of having that much money and not doing good with it, yeah. So this person continues, the left isn't wrong that they command a lot of power and influence. The right isn't wrong to say that they worked hard and sacrificed a lot to get to their wealth. No, actually, that is wrong. They did not work hard and sacrificed a lot to get to their wealth. That's not what happened with the vast majority of billionaires. I would just love to see a bit more substance than what I see here. Little lady. So Rachel replies to that saying, I'm not sure why I apparently need to write a dissertation in every tweet to make a point that billionaires have undue problematic influence on global politics and have exercised said influence to kill hundreds of thousands of poor people. And I would add to that hundreds of thousands of poor people per year. The wealth gap is the largest it's been in recorded Canadian history. And I mean like globally, I don't mean like just here in Canada. A clear symptom of inequality problem. Publicly funded sectors like healthcare and education are underfunded while billionaires don't pay their fair share. You see it in hospital wait times, classroom sizes. The ultra-rich have several homes and financialize the market while people can't pay their rent. The proof is all around us every day. It's been documented ad nauseum. Trickle-down economics have been debunked. Forgive me for distilling that reality into the loser insult. Anyone hoarding billions in wealth in society that has struggling public services is the epitome of exactly that, a loser. In the context of everything I just laid out, I think distilling it to the diagnosis in a tweet is actually fine. I also take issue with the implication I haven't laid all this out in my reporting and am some partisan cheerleader. That's insulting. I haven't picked a team, but I'm transparent about the opinions and informed subjective decisions that are unavoidable anyone reporting. I respect my audience enough not to pretend I'm not a human being and trust in their ability to critically engage with my work as a result of the context I provide with on my opinions. I don't engage in both sidesism for this own sake. All that does is make you an easy mark for the loudest voice that tells you you've failed, whether that outcry is good faith or not. This is an online environment that's a dangerous thing to be. I'll bet whoever pranked me with premium Twitter subscription is regretting their hilarious bit right now. But to be honest, the blue check is still mortifying, so kudos. You've given me too much power. Yes. I didn't know you could gift people blue checks. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, as Donald James here says, billionaires were first funded by taxpayers. Yeah. They're taking our money. And quite often they're taking government money, which is our money, taxpayer money. Because, like here in Ontario, Doug Ford has all these vanity projects he's doing that will cost billions upon billions of dollars from the taxpayers to build. And then they're going to corporations, not even necessarily Canadian corporations, and just lines their pockets. And in the end, Canadians' lives aren't better. It's not like the money is going towards a program that will help people. A luxury fucking spa won't help people get to the grocery store. It won't cut back on wait times in the hospital. It won't make the classroom sizes smaller. All of that sort of stuff. Yeah. So, speaking of ultra rich people, so breaking: Elon Musk has become the world's first trillionaire. Now, I know a lot of you have already heard about this. But Zach Polanski decided to comment on it. And for those of you who don't know, he's across the pond. He's the leader of the Green Party in the UK. And he says the world's first trillionaire is backing the far-right mobs and their politician backers. Don't think for a second that these men have ordinary people's interests at heart. So last week, for those of you who are tuning into this space with me, I went over the riots that were happening there, the race riots, the pogrom. I added to that a little bit more yesterday in my live stream, but absolutely horrific what's going on there. And Elon Musk was absolutely fanning those flames. He bought Twitter and is now using it to, what's the word? Disseminate hatred and fear, filling people's timelines with lies. He wanted those riots to happen. He was egging them on, giving them whatever information they needed so that they would go out and be violent. Well, Elon Musk didn't like being called out because here he is just saying murderous migrants beheading innocent people in their hometown is what's making people angry, not social media. So first of all, that murderous migrant. So there was an attack, and it was I don't know if he actually was migrant, Sudanese background, and it was a knife attack. He attempted to decapitate someone. He did not. That person, as far as I know, was in critical condition, but was alive. So there's that, but also nobody gave a fuck about all the white people who were doing decapitations in the UK before that. If you watch Owen Jones as much as I do, he has a video where he goes into detail about all these white people who have actually decapitated and murdered people, yet not a peep from people like Elon Musk. Nothing about that. So migrants beheading innocent people in their hometowns, what's making people angry, not social media. And it's the social media, because the social media is spreading lies like this. So Zach called that out, saying this man is a threat to our democracy. He backs violence and extremism. Blaming a group of people for the awful actions of an individual leads us to a very dark place. Musk, Lowe, Farage, Robinson, these men don't give a shit about this country. They want to rip us apart. And somebody replied to that, maybe that group of people should stop beheading and raping. You don't give a shit about the real citizens of the country. Fuck you. And then Elon replied to all of that, saying, yes, he's a scumbag and a traitor. So he's calling the leader of a political party in a country he's not a citizen of a traitor. the way Elon acts, it's hard. I would imagine there are people out there that know he's not, he's an immigrant to America. And he is currently responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands with what he did in the American government, getting rid of USAID or whatever it's called. And now he's going online and stoking these flames of hatred, wanting people to go out there and riot and do pogroms and all that sort of stuff. And so Hassan also points this out in this little video clippy here. Where are my headphones? Where are my headphones? Here are my headphones. Because recently, Hassan Piker was banned from going to the UK, whereas Elon Musk, who, again, tweeted out this lie, this racist lie, he's not been banned from any of these nations. Silas is saying the organization is called USAID.
From the UK, by the way. How interesting. Elon Musk could travel to the UK right now, tomorrow, and no one would say a goddamn word. I, on the other hand, am banned from the fucking United Kingdom. Elon Musk is not. Think about that. Think about that. Where's the Labour government's priorities? How many riots does he have to incite until the British government decides, okay, maybe he is a danger. He's an ever-present danger to safety.
And particularly.
Now, I'm pointing out all of this, the through thread of the media outlets and stuff, because what this can lead to is the worst of the worst crimes out there. Genocide. And we've seen a lot of it leading up to, the Zionists, the way that they will flood the online social media with fake news, lies, things to justify their killing of hundreds of thousands of people. We see them use social media, but this is one of the rare times where social media also exposes them for the liars they are. But with these rich people like Elon Musk owning a lot of these platforms, they have the ability to change the algorithm, to ban certain groups of people, to, focus attention on certain things. There's another word in my head that I'm trying to think of. But they have the ability to distort reality for a lot of people. And this type of thing has absolutely been used to lead to genocides. So before social media, going back, I guess, to the 90s, there was radio. And I don't know if this is taught, but there was a genocide in Rwanda. So the Rwandan genocide. This genocide, in 4 months in 1994, killed more than more than 500,000 people. And so the victims were Tutsis, the perpetrators were Hutu-led government, led by all these people. But let's see. And this was just, anti-Tutsi sentiment. So it was racism and hatred. And if we go down, there's a lot of information on this. But we go down to, where is it? Timeline. So radio station, RTLM. This is where a lot of that information, false information and stoking of hatred and anger and racism came from. So the power groups believe that the national radio station, Radio Rwanda, had become too liberal and supportive of opposition. They found a new radio station, Radio Television Libre des RTLM. The RTLM was designed to appeal to young adults in Rwanda and has extensive reach. This is going to start sounding very familiar soon. Unlike newspapers that could only be found in cities, the radio broadcasts were accessible to Rwanda's largely rural populations of farmers. The format of broadcasts mirrored Western-style radio talk shows that played popular music, hosted interviews, and encouraged audience participation. The broadcasters told crude jokes and used offensive language that contrasted strongly with Radio Rwanda's more formal news reports. Just 1.52% of RTLM's airtime was dedicated to news, while 66.29% of airtime featured the journalists discussing their thoughts on different subjects. So there was Rebel News here in Canada that the government ruled on was not an official news network because the percent of airtime that they gave to actual news wasn't enough. And if you look at a lot of right-wing content, a lot of it isn't necessarily about the news. It's about opinions. It's about talking about issues and spreading misinformation and hatred. So as the start of the genocide approached, the RTLM broadcast focused on anti-Tutsi propaganda. See, this is where, again, it starts getting really uncomfortable because how much anti-immigrant propaganda have we been seeing on right-wing stations and stuff? What Elon Musk is doing and the other people with the power of, the billionaires that own these social media platforms, they're setting it up for a genocide of, just monstrous proportions. That's what's happening right now. And it's a slow crawl right now, but when it starts. So they characterize the Tutsis as dangerous enemy who wanted to seize the political power, all those immigrants who come in to vote at the expense of Hutus, white replacement theory type stuff. By linking the Rwanda Patriotic Army with the Tutsi political party and ordinary Tutsi citizens, they classified the entire ethnic group as one homogeneous threat to Rwandans. The RTLM went further than amplifying ethnic and political division. It also labeled the Tutsi as this word, meaning non-human pest or cockroaches, which must be exterminated. We've been hearing language that mirrors that very closely. Leading up to the genocide, there were 294 instances of the RTLM accusing Rwanda Patriotic Army of atrocities against the Hutu, along with 252 broadcasts that called for the Hutus to kill the Tutsis. Now, we haven't gotten to the point where they're saying, there has been calls for death on the right wing every now and then. They should be executed, this and that and the other thing. But the studies will show the disproportionate amount of time right-wing radio, social media outlets or news outlets will focus on cherry-picked stories while completely ignoring other ones. So in the UK, it was focusing on the one attack from the Sudanese man on the white person, but they ignore so many other attacks when it's white men who are the perpetrators. And you see that down in the States all the time too, where they'll focus on like, oh, look at this leftist who did this mass shooting, while ignoring the, extraordinarily large amount of mass shootings that happen from white men. And so they take these couple incidences and just focus on them and blow them way out of proportion, that it can sway the audience and make them believe that it's a much bigger problem than it is. And we have that right now with crime in general. Owen Jones has pointed it out. Sam and Emma have pointed it out. Crime statistics are actually down. But people who just listen to right-wing content are probably, have bunkers in their basements, and they're shuddering in fear of all the violence that's happening around them. But it's all, it's manufactured. It's a sense of a manufactured crisis. So one such broadcast stated, someone must make them disappear for good to wipe them from human memory. We've been hearing a lot of that sort of rhetoric from Zionists towards Palestinians, even political leaders within Israel saying things like this. To exterminate the Tutsi from the surface of the earth. By the time the violence began, the young Hutu population had absorbed months of propaganda that characterized all Tutsis as dangerous and enemies that must be killed before they seize control of the country. The RTLM's role in the genocide earned the nickname Radio Machete, as it related to their incitement to genocide. A 2014 study by Harvard Kennedy School researcher David, that name I can't pronounce, found that approximately 10% of the overall violence during Rwanda genocide can be attributed to this new radio station. Gordon Danny, a researcher for the free speech advocacy group, Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, questioned the assumption of the paper that media availability correlated with media consumption. So, yeah. We are seeing the foundations of a genocide being put in place right now from the right wing towards immigrants, towards people of color, Black people, Indigenous people, queer people. They're just, starting to pour the cement into the foundations with their control of social media, their algorithms, the rhetoric that they're using on their right-wing shows, all of it. They're following the handbook on it, pretty much. Because it wasn't just this. There was another genocide that happened more recently that a lot of people don't know about, because it's not like mainstream media ever really covered it. I've mentioned it before on my channel and stuff, because the only reason why I know about it was I volunteer with Amnesty International, and that's the Rohingya genocide. Also, social media played a massive part in this. And so for those who don't know, this one happened from October 9th, 2016 to January 2017, and August 25th to the present. So still ongoing. The target is Rohingya and other Muslim minorities. The attack type is genocide, ethnic cleansing, religious cleansing, genocidal rape, mass murder. The deaths, over 24,000, destruction of many villages, tens of thousands raped, 1.5 million fled abroad, primarily to Bangladesh. The stories that came out of this were some of the most horrific things you could hear. It's what the Zionists accuse the Palestinians of doing. And for those who think there's and I've had some people say, oh, there's peaceful religions out there, but there's a reason why I'm against institutional religion, because all of them can be used and manipulated to justify their violent atrocities, because the main perpetrators were radical Buddhists. But the Rohingya genocide is a series of ongoing persecutions and killing of the Muslim Rohingya people by the, I can't pronounce that, armed forces of Myanmar. The genocide has consisted of 2 phases to date. The first was militarily crackdown that occurred from October 2016 to January 2017, and the second has been occurring since August 2017 from 2024 onward. The Army has also been accused of participating in abuse against Rohingya Muslims, particularly in areas under its control. The crisis forced over 1 million Rohingya to flee to other countries. Most fled to Bangladesh, resulting in the creation of the world's largest refugee camp. That's called the Cox's Bazar. While the other escaped to India, Thailand, Malaysia, and other parts of South and Southeast Asia, where they continue to face persecution. Several countries considered these events ethnic cleansing. The persecution of Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar dates back to at least the 1970s. Since then, the Rohingya people have been persecuted on a regular basis by the government and Buddhist nationalists. In late 2016, Myanmar armed forces and police launched a major crackdown against the people in Rakhine State, which is located in the country's northwestern region. The Burmese military was accused of committing ethnic cleansing and genocide by various United Nations agencies, International Criminal Court official, human rights groups, journalists, and the government. The UN found evidence of widespread scale human rights violations, including extrajudicial killings, summary execution, gang rapes, arson of Rohingya villages, businesses, and schools, and infanticides. At least 6,700 Rohingya were killed in the first months of the attack between August 25th and September 24th, 2017. The Burmese government dismissed these findings by stating they are exaggerations. Sounds very Zionist, doesn't it? Using statistical extrapolations, which were based on surveys which were conducted with a total of 3,321 Rohingya refugees household in Cox's Bazar. That's the refugee camp, the largest one. Bangladesh, a study which conducted in January 2018 estimated that the military and local Rakhine population killed at least 25,000 Rohingya people and perpetrated gang rapes and other forms of sexual violence against 18,000 Rohingya women and girls. They estimated that 116,000 Rohingya were beaten and 36,000 were thrown into fires, including toddlers and babies alive. So I wanted to get into, again, just some of the most horrific stories I've heard came out from that genocide. So dissemination of hate material. In a report which was published in March 2024, the IIMM stated that in a systemic and coordinated manner, the military had spread material which was designed to instill fear and hatred of the Rohingya minority. The report stated that the military used dozens of seemingly unrelated Facebook pages to spread hate speech against Rohingya before it launched its attack on them in 2017. Again, we've heard this all before, and we see, we have right-wing politicians that will spread memes about denying the residential school killings here in Canada, that they'll share memes, transphobic memes, they'll share anti-immigrant memes. So all of this, by politicians, just sharing them around social media. Again, they're laying the foundation. But I want to get to the Facebook aspect of this. See, I controlled F to find it in the first place, and I don't know how far down it actually is. I must have skipped it. Oh, there we go. So Facebook content management controversy. And they're saying this section is an expert from Facebook content management over controversies and incitement of human rights abuses in Myanmar. The chairman of the UN Independent International Fact-Finding Mission on Myanmar stated that Facebook played a determining role in the Rohingya genocide. Facebook had been accused of enabling the spread of Islamophobic content, which targets the Rohingya people. The United Nations Human Rights Council has called the platform a useful instrument for those seeking to spread hate. Feels like this is still the case in a lot of areas. We're seeing it all the time on Twitter, the way that Islamophobic hatred can be spread. You can say, you can call for the extermination of Gaza and get into no trouble. But, if you say Israel's at fault of a genocide, you get accused of being anti-Semitic. You can say all the hateful stuff you want about Muslims online, from politicians, everyone, and nothing happens. Nothing. But then the focus will be turned, like we have Jamel Javani, he's an MP here in Canada, who's like, oh, the real victims in all of this are evangelical Christians. They're the biggest victims in the country. The Internet.org initiative was brought to Myanmar in 2015. Myanmar's relatively recent democratic transition did not provide the country with substantial time to form professional and reliable media outlets free from government intervention. Furthermore, approximately 1% of Myanmar's residents had internet access before Internet.org. As a result, Facebook was the primary source of information, and without verifiable professional media options, Facebook became a breeding ground for hate speech and disinformation. Basically, in Myanmar, Facebook was Google. That was their internet, was Facebook. And that's where all this information was being spread. But yeah, it was their internet. Facebook was the thing everyone was on when they actually got the internet. So rumors circulating among family or friends networks on Facebook were perceived as indistinguishable from verified news by its users. So right now in Canada, there are no actual news links on Facebook because Google said if I have to pay for a little bit of our wealth to go towards the news centers that we use their links of, we're not going to do it. So we don't have actual news links, like to real news on our Facebook pages, but people are still getting their news from Facebook, especially the older generations, which is scary because the only news they're seeing is made up, false information, memes, right-wing propaganda. So frequent anti-Rohingya sentiments, including high Muslim birth rates, increasing economic influence, and plans to take over the country. Again, sounds very familiar. We're hearing that rhetoric a lot from the United States. The white replacement theory. And how, they're taking all the jobs and all of that sort of stuff. And, how some right-wing politicians will claim that, Zora Mandami is trying to make New York a Muslim state and all that sort of stuff. We are seeing the signs. They're not even, difficult to identify. It's not like the sign is in a bush and you have to at least look for it. This is a clear pattern that's been happening, and we're seeing it again, but it's on like a social media scale unlike anything else that has happened before. Like it'll be cross country, like cross borders into all Western countries. Myanmar's Facebook community was also nearly completely unmonitored by Facebook, who at the time only had 2 Burmese-speaking employees. In response, Facebook removed accounts which were owned by the Myanmar Armed Forces because they had previously used Facebook to incite hatred against the Rohingya people, and they were currently engaging in coordinated, inauthentic behavior. In February 2021, Facebook banned the Myanmar military from its platform and set up rules to ban, this word I can't pronounce, linked businesses. The Myanmar military was not the only account found to have incited violence. In a review undertaken by Facebook in 2018, Facebook banned accounts and pages associated with Myanmar military personnel that were indicated by UN as directly responsible for the ethnic cleansing in Rakhine. The banned accounts had widespread reach in the country, and they were followed by nearly 12 million accounts, which is about half of all Myanmar's Facebook users. So that would have been all internet users, pretty much. On 6 December 2021, approximately 100 Rohingya refugees launched a $150 billion lawsuit against Facebook, alleging they did not do enough to prevent the proliferation of anti-Rohingya hate speech because it was interested in prioritizing engagement. We see that a lot with the right-wing content. They're more interested in the engagement than they are the quality of information that's going out there. On 10 December 2021, 16 Rohingya youth living in Cox's Bazar refugee camp made a complaint against Facebook to the Irish National Contact Point for the OECD guidelines for multinational enterprises, alleging that Facebook had violated the guidelines and owed them a remedy. The lead complainants in the case included members of Rohingya civil society group Arakan Rohingya Society for Peace and Human Rights, ARSPH, another word I can't pronounce, who founded ARSPH and had spearheaded efforts amongst camp-based Rohingya refugees to hold Facebook accountable and had been murdered just over 2 months before. On 27 December 2023, hundreds of students from various universities in Aceh, Indonesia, such as this university and other universities, stormed a shelter for Rohingya refugees and forced them out of the convention center in the city of Banda Aceh, demanding they be deported. The students were seen as kicking the belongings of Rohingya men, women, and children who were seated on the floor and crying in fear. They were also seen burning tires and chanting various anti-Rohingya slogans. The protest was believed to be caused by Facebook due to anti-Rohingya sentiments that spread through the app. On 23 January 2025, Rohingya human rights activist and genocide survivor Moang filed a whistleblower lawsuit against Meta before U.S. Security and Exchange Commissions. The lawsuit accused Meta of having misled shareholders regarding its role in the Rohingya genocide and violations of U.S. security laws. The lawsuit was filed with the support of Amnesty International and Open Society Foundations. So you can go to the Wikipedia pages for both those genocides to learn more about them. There's other documentaries. You can go to the Amnesty International website. They have information about it as well. But we're seeing it. We're seeing the signs in our right-wing media. The way that, it's targeting a lot of young men. You look at the rampage that happened in Northern Ireland. It was young men who were participating in that, primarily, who have been indoctrinated online through this right-wing rabbit hole, going around burning houses, forcing people out. And it's not just about immigrants as well. It's also anything queer related. I saw a video today that Tizzy had put into a thing of a man who had taken his 2 young, very young daughters into a woman's restroom while they were on a road trip. And then another man started yelling at him, threatening him. 50 physically assaulted him by shoving nothing that would hurt. And his two young daughters were bawling their eyes out in fear of this man. And the man was calling the police, saying that there's a man in the women's washroom and how his wife can't use the washroom because there's this man in there with his two young daughters. Like, even on the phone to the police, he's like, he's in the washroom with his two young daughters. Where was he supposed to take them? Into the men's room where there's urinals and the potential of his young daughters being exposed to men holding their penises? But we're seeing these attacks get more bold. On trans folks, the genocide has already begun. In the UK, in the US, Canada. We're not safe here, especially if you're in Alberta. And that's the thing. When it comes to the Western countries that we always think of, like the UK, Australia, United States, Canada, several other like European countries, they all share the same right-wing networks, the right-wing rhetoric, the right-wing influences. If we allowed this to expand, we won't be safe in any of those countries. And it's just frustrating to see this happening. But I don't think a lot of people understand what the most horrific outcome of this could be. Like an ethnic cleansing of all Western countries. It's, it's scary. Seeing this, I was expecting Star Trek Utopia by now. Visions of the future of, medical technology making it so nobody was sick, housing for everyone, farming technology for food, and, no more poor people or people going hungry. And those billionaires out there have the ability to make that future a reality. And instead, they're making these genocides possible. They're influencing them. They're promoting them. They're, what's the word? I think I saw it. They're instigating them. Oh, scary, scary stuff. So, yeah, sorry, not very uplifting this space this week. But please, on Sunday, I'll hopefully get back to my regular news live stream and try to get back into that pattern. I was in a whole bunch of vending markets recently. That's over with. So now I can focus on getting the TYT essay done. Oh my God, I need that done in the worst fucking way possible. I need it done. So yeah, I'm sure as I get closer, when the initial draft, the first draft is done, oh, you can be guaranteed I'll be telling all of you. But once the initial draft is done, it doesn't even mean that's close to being done, because then I still have to go back. And it's been so long, this process, that some of the stuff that I started with, I might have to change a bit and manipulate, or not manipulate, but actually update based on new information or information that is no longer relevant and all this sort of stuff. And so the second run through of the draft will go by a lot faster, but not fast in internet standards and the people who've been waiting on this for like the year and a half I've been talking about it. So it's going to be close to 2 years since I started this by the time it actually gets out. Hopefully I can get it out by my channel anniversary in November. That would be one way to ring in. I think it will be my 6th anniversary for my channel. That would be one hell, like 6 TYT essays for my 6-year anniversary release. Oh, but hopefully I can get it done before then, because I want it off my plate. So yeah, I want it off my plate, done, so I can focus on my channel, clipping my live streams, getting information out there, focusing on my new YouTube channel for my art and stuff, and getting back to this. So if I become a billionaire from this, I won't be a billionaire for long because I'm not keeping all that fucking money. I will do good with it. There's no reason. Like once I have a house and I have, you know, a nice cushion that I can always get a new car, I can travel, I can do everything that I want. All the money beyond that, why the fuck would I keep it? So yeah, buy my book. Help me become the mirror dimension J.K. Rowling. So the inclusive, non-turf writer that becomes a billionaire. Cisco was right. We've forgotten how to care. Yeah, I rewatched Deep Space Nine not too long ago, and some of those episodes were gut punches. Also, if anyone gets the chance to watch Babylon 5, that series, oh my God, very relevant. Anyway, everyone, subscribe to This Space, subscribe to my channels, subscribe. No, I won't become J.K. Sandee. It's never, Silas. No, I'm talking like mirror dimension, so the opposite. I'd become a good billionaire writer that embraces trans folks as me being non-binary and stuff. So yeah, no. And then I wouldn't remain a billionaire for long because I'd end up giving away a lot of that money or putting it into good causes. Yeah, subscribe to my channels. Follow me on all my social medias for Sandee Lovas and Left of the Box. Spelling. News live stream Sunday. And I think that's it. So Nicholas, everyone, give a lot of love to Nicholas for being the producer and putting up with all this. And I will see you all later. So, salut, à la prochaine. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. I'm Sandee, wishing your tomorrow is better than your today.